Welcome back. This is Tommy Kendi. I am talking to you from the BS machine. This is episode 67 of the BS machine. Welcome back, guys. And what a glorious week it has been. Everyone's sort of back into doing shit, aren't they? We're all sort of back into doing our lives and getting on with it. And it's sort of just happening, isn't it? And we're doing it. We're having conversations. Some of them are totally fucking useless, and other ones are, when we're aware of stuff, or when we're choosing to be in the moment and choosing to engage in an aware way, then the conversations are fucking great, aren't they? And I've been doing a lot of, I guess, awareness work where I'm really taking notice of how I am in the world and really taking notice of what's sort of going on. And I'm also being really aware of the people around me, not just my loved ones and my family and stuff close by, but also just people I randomly come in contact with. And so what we're talking about today is actually it can be, I don't know, I just feel like I've heard it a lot. I've heard this word a lot, not just lately, but over my entire, my entire life. As soon as I got into yoga and meditation and spirituality and all that type of stuff, I just started, you hear this word, this fucking narrative, which is something along the lines of, hey man, the universe has always got my back. And you might have, I'm sure you've heard that saying before. Yeah, the universe has got my back. I'm good. And you know what? It's a really nice thing to say, isn't it? It's a really cool thing to say, because you're like, yeah, you know what? If I don't do anything, the universe has got my back. But if you really look at it and you're really being super aware and you're calling yourself and you're being a creative genius and you're being a powerful human, then that really doesn't really make much sense. It's just a throwaway comment. And the reason I say that, I've fucking said that so many times before. And what it reminded me of, one of my really, really good friends, she's one of my best mates. Actually, if you haven't checked her out, I'm sure you guys have heard of her, Kat John. She's fucking awesome. She's absolutely killing it. And she's one of my really good mates. And by the way, if you haven't listened to her podcast, Real Raw, it's called Real, Raw and Relatable. It's a really cool podcast. And Kat is doing some really, really cool shit in this world. And I'm super proud of her and honoured to have her as one of my best mates. And you know what? She's actually the partner of my actual best mate, Steve, who I've known since I was 8 years old, and he always calls me on my shit. But that's whatever. I just thought I'd mention Kat just because I fucking love her and I love what she's doing. But and I love Steve as well, by the way. Steve, if you're listening, don't worry, mate. I still fucking love you. So anyway, I was walking with Kat on the beach, like we do quite a few times a week. And there are these, I don't know if you guys have ever looked into it, but there's this thing called creative numerology. And there is, it basically says that we're in a 9-year life cycle. And so every 9 years, on your 9th year, shit stops. And it's almost like everything seems to close over, or everything has a completion. And then you go into year 1, which is this brand new thing. And if you read up on year 1, it basically says that there's all this new cool shit coming in, and you should be super excited because it's the start of something new, and all this cool stuff's going to happen, and shit's just going to fall in your lap, and all this really cool stuff that's going to happen with you. So I was walking with Kat on the beach, and she's like, so Tommy, what are you doing this year? Like, what's your plans? And it was funny because I just read the Creative Numerology Life 1, because I'm in the year 1 this year. And so basically when it said all that stuff where it's like all this new stuff and you've completed, and you know what, it was actually so true, because last year I was in the year 9 and so many things came to an end. My previous relationship came to an end. So many things came to an end, and there was a completion of a number of things in my life, which, and basically when I read that, the year 9 in creative numerology, it was like on the money. So when I was reading year 1, I'm like, yes, all right, cool. She's just going to fall in my lap. And of course I was reading the things that that I wanted to hear or wanted to read. And anyway, so I'm walking with Kat on the beach, and she's like, what are you doing this year? And I was there was a part of me that was just thinking, you know what? I actually don't need to do anything because I'm in year 1, so she's just going to fall in my lap. And I was telling Kat about it, and she's just started pissing herself laughing. And I just caught myself as I was talking about it, because what I was saying was that basically I don't need to do anything because I'm in year 1 in creative numerology. And basically that means even if I just sit on my ass, I'm cool. Excuse me. I'm taken care of. And so we had a good little chuckle there, and I sort of just, then I realized myself, I was like, Tom, okay, cool. And that sort of got me thinking onto these other sort of things that when we start our spiritual journey, it's so exciting because you have so many aha moments, and you have, there are all these things that unravel, and it's not just at the start of our journey, it's all the way through it. I mean, it never stops, does it? When you start becoming aware of your flaws, and you start becoming aware of whether you've had trauma in the past, and I'm assuming most of us that are listening to this program have had some sort of wounding or trauma. And if you haven't, I'd highly recommend that you just do a little digging and check into it, because there's some of the tiniest things could really filter out through our whole entire life that we don't even know that we're carrying since we've been little kids. And I'm not saying dig into it and go into it and, oh my God, spend the rest of your life trying to fucking go into that shit. But it's good to know, because once you know, you start to really explore how it's stopping you, 1, but 2, then when you actually go into full creation mode and you're creating and you're doing your shit and you're focusing on all the stuff that matters to you, then you basically know where your wounding is going to come in and try and fuck you over and stop you. So anyway, and then I sort of went into it after our walk, and I was thinking into it, these little sayings that people say that are sort of just throwaway comments. And as I said before, that definitely is one. And I haven't said this for a long time because I just think it's such a load of shit where it's like, man, you know what? I'm just going to sort of sit back because I know the universe has got my back. And so what I believe, and the way that I look at the world and perceive the world, is that it's partly true, because I do believe that there is an energy, there's a power that's way greater and bigger than what we know, but we're all connected into that power. So it's not like it's something outside of us. It's something that's within us, and we're connected to it. And it's it's this thing that we have this. It's this energy, where you pull down happiness, joy, success, feeling content, feeling fucking good. It's this thing that we're connected to, and everything's connected on all levels of time, space, and everything else. Everything is connected on all levels of time and space, which has to be true. It has to be true. That's why when we experience stuff like, we think about our mums and our mum calls straight away, or we think about someone overseas and they call you, or you think about someone and you see them down the street and you're like, holy shit, I was just fucking thinking of you. How that's so weird. And so they're little signs that that we are definitely connected in. But so where I was going with this is that when we say things like that, when we try and lean back on the soft couch of, you know, the universe has got my back, it lends itself to this energy that that there's almost, it's something that's more powerful than you, and it has a say, it has a power over you, and it has a power over what happens in your life, and it has a power over when you actually get what you truly want. And so you will really have to be careful with these little narratives, with these little words that we say, these little statements, because they can really fuck you over. And it fucked me over for quite a while, because it brought this thing up when I started realizing that there's this energy out there and whatever else I'm connected to. I sort of sat back and went, oh, okay, cool, well, I don't have to do shit. So the reason why I'm saying that that's partly true is because in order to create, first we actually have to make a really conscious choice that we are going to create, and we have to make a conscious choice that we'll really start to shift our focus and bring our focus into what we actually, you know, want to create and what we actually want. And also, you know, the other thing that just sort of popped in for me is that so many of us are put on this earth to be of service and help other people. Whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a yoga teacher, whether you do it in movies, whether you're running onto the footy field and you know, you play AFL, whatever the fuck you do, whether you're a doctor, anything, you know, even if you're a fucking telemarketer, you know, whatever the fuck you do, whether you're a chef or anything, you know, it's like, it's you know what, I basically just went through and listed all the things that my current clients do, and it's funny because I've got I've got clients all over the place. Like some of them play AFL, some of them are in movies and on TV all the time. You know, I've got telemarketers. I've got all sorts of different clients that I look after, and it's so much fun. But it all comes back to the same thing. And actually, you know what? Speaking of clients, when I usually hear these words like, yeah, but I know this, the universe has got my back, or oh, I've been spiritual for ages. You know, I know spirituality. And when I usually hear it is it's usually in the first session that I do with my clients, when, you know, they just keep looking at things from a higher perspective and almost hide behind this blanket that they're fucking spiritual, or that they believe that the universe has got their back. And that's all well and good. But, you know, if you're true and you really look at it and you believe yourself to be a super powerful human being, then it's not the universe. The universe is this energy, is this thing that goes, oh, you decided to shift your focus onto what you actually want. Cool, I'll back you up and I'll help you get there. But you don't get it ever just sitting back and saying shit like the universe has got my back. You've got to actually have the courage to look down the tunnel and have this tunnel vision, or this ability to focus nice and strong down the tunnel of what it is that you actually want. Like, and so the universe is not going to show you what you want. Or actually, you know what? Why am I saying that? The universe it won't be the universe. It's going to be your ability to stay open, stay exposed, and look under those rocks that you wouldn't usually look under. And that's usually where the true goodness is. And you have to be able to know where those rocks are, and you have to be able to look in those places. Otherwise, you've got no fucking chance at all. So what would be some other little things that you might talk about where, you know, you say stuff like, oh, the universe has got my back, or I do yoga, so I meditate, so I understand that the chakras or whatever you call them, there's all these things, like you've got to bring them all out, and you just got to stop saying it. You've got to, and you can absolutely believe that there is a higher power, because there fucking is. It doesn't matter which way you look at it. There is a higher power, but that higher power, it doesn't have power over what happens in your life. It doesn't have power over when you actually get all that type of stuff, and that's the thing. Is but wait, let me explain a little bit further. You can't actually rush this shit, so you can't rush it. So for example, for me, one of my intentions for this year, one of the things that I've written down for myself, because I've never ever done this, is I'm just going to do one thing this year that's basically, its sole purpose is just to create fucking money, like create like actual proper wealth. So one of the things that I'm doing this year has any other reason behind it other than to create fucking wealth, to create money, and to bring in the coin, And I could just sit back and go, yeah, the universe has got my back, so I'm just going to wait for the money. And it's just not going to happen like that. So I've got to actively go out there and look under the rocks that I haven't looked under before. So for example, last week I bought these shares like, I don't know, 2.5 years ago, and they've just been sitting there. And that was one of the rocks that I was able to look under, because it always comes from places that you don't expect it. So so these shares, I put in like $5,000 or whatever it is, and suddenly, no joke, within a week and a half, 2 weeks, they went up to fucking 20 grand. And I'm like, holy shit. And my ego was in there going, oh my God, what if it goes up to fucking 100 grand or 50 grand or whatever? And I had this ability to say to myself, do you know what? No. One of my intentions is just to make money, so I've just pulled some money out of it. And I pulled the money out, and I fucking made 20 grand in like a week. And I was like, holy shit, that was cool. I wouldn't have otherwise done that if one of my intentions wasn't just to make money. So I pulled it out, and then in the moment, I had this thing it's intuitively, I just felt this stuff. I'm like, dude, you should put $5,000 into this other stock, which I've been talking to a mate about as well. So I've just gone, you know what, let's pull the 20 out, and I'll put 5 in another stock. And you know what, if my intuition is right, which it always is, that'll fucking go off its tits as well. So look, here's the thing. So it's like, you've got to be able to, as I said before, it's like looking under these rocks and whatever else. But really, where it's at is for you to be able to really understand and know how to dig into what you truly want, and you've got to stop. This might sound weird, but you have to stop looking at things from a higher perspective. Sometimes, not all the time. Like, I only say look at things from a higher perspective once we've done the work and found out what the ego's narrative is, because that could very well be the universe has got my back, or I'm too spiritual, or not too spiritual, or I'm spiritual, I do yoga, I meditate, I do all those things, and why does nothing ever work out for me, or why isn't it easy? Just shut the fuck up, put your big girl, big boy pants on. By the way, I'm talking to myself, and if you resonated with that or got pissed off, good. Is to really understand what the ego's narrative is, because until you do, once you understand the narrative of your egoic structure, then you can start looking at things from a higher perspective, because you can hover over your crapola and look down from a higher perspective and go, wow, it's actually not as hard or not as bad as what I thought. And one of the things I do with my clients when it's needed is that we go back into their childhood. So we actually, we go, and I know a lot of people do this, but and I've actually done this in sessions with a psychologist, like years and years and years ago, when I used to see a psychologist. And the only issue there was that it came from, it was almost like just a conscious, it was too conscious, like you're trying to look in there. Whereas when I do this process with my clients, we actually look at it from a much deeper level. We look at it from a really deep level of what we actually felt, what was going on. And we look at the narrative or the trauma or the wounding that came out of that experience when we were kids. And, one or two different little memories that really, cemented a certain thing in your life. Like, for example, for me, which I've talked about this before, when I was a kid, there was this thing cemented in me that I'm totally incapable of fucking doing anything. As soon as it comes to doing something for myself or doing something that is going to bring me success, as soon as I go to start it, I'm like, nah, you're fucking incapable, Tommy. Like you don't have the means, you don't have the know-how, you're not smart enough, you're not wise enough, you're not good looking enough, you're not this, you're not that, and I just, my initial, if I was in my ego, I'd just sit back and just go, no, I'll give up, I'm not doing this. But obviously, because I know my wounding so fucking well, I just acknowledge that and go, oh, how cool is that? And then I can step into a higher perspective and go, you know what? That's actually not true. And if it was true, I wouldn't have achieved all these epic things in my life that I've already achieved to this date. So then I know, based on my wisdom, based on the digging that I've done, that there's these number of things, and I'm incapable is just a very small part of it. And so when I go for things, I know the things that are going to pop up. I know what my egoic structure is going to try and how it's going to stop me and keep me safe and all that. So I'm able to move forward because I know that each time I go for something that I care about or that is important to me, it's going to bring up shit. And it's the same thing for you. If you're listening to this right now, it's exactly the same thing for you. And if you don't know what your egoic narrative is, you're going to be one of those people that has a really beautiful idea, a really cool idea. You have this, or you have this really epic focus or thing that you want to do with your life. And as soon as you go to do it, your egoic narrative will come in and you'll sit back in your little fucking chair and you'll go, the universe has got my back, and then nothing will fucking happen. So I am talking from experience. I'm not talking as a person talking down to you or saying that you're not as good as me or whatever. I'm just giving you the fucking truth. I'm actually just giving you the downright fucking truth. And so if you were going to be honest with yourself, if you were going to sit back and really go into it and go, do you know what? I'm sick of myself. I've had enough. I'm sick of myself. I'm actually just going to go for it, despite all my fears, all that type of stuff. And so then when you get to that place, then you can step into that higher perspective. Then the universe does have your back, but then you realize that it's not the fucking universe. It's you, baby. It's fucking you. It's not the universe. The universe will have your back when you have your fucking back. So the universe is not something outside of you. Like, can you imagine if you're sitting back on a couch and go, all right, or whatever, you just do shit half-assed, or you go for things, but you're like, nah, the universe has got my back, so I won't or go all out. If that's true, the universe, if that's an entity, would sit back and go, fuck off. I'm not giving you shit. Like, you can't do, I'm not giving you shit, man, because you're just being a half-assed pussy. I'm not giving you fucking anything. Like, once you believe in yourself, then I'll become one with you, and I will become one with you, and I and you will do this together. And that's the real truth. That's the true nature of the universe, the true nature of the world. It's a universal fucking law that when you 100% believe that you've got your back and you're supporting yourself, then that's when the party really, really starts. That's when shit just magically happens in your life. People call you where you're like, hang on, how is it possible that this person just called me and offered me this cool idea, or we had this conversation, and how is that possible? Because I was just thinking that is magic, guys. That is the magic. That is the beauty of having your own back. And I don't know. I guess I could keep going on about it because I'm definitely on a roll. But I do want to keep these. I do want to keep these podcasts down to below 30 minutes because I just want to punch you in the fucking face, and I just want to. And me, I'm punching myself in the face, you know. So I know you must have got a lot out of that, and yeah, you know, I get so excited talking about this stuff because I just feel like I've fucked up so much in my life, and I've made so many wrong choices, and they've all netted me a really beautiful moment, which is. Every time you fuck up, you get to this moment and you're like, oh, am I going to do things differently now? And then each time you get the opportunity to do things different. So you're in that place now. You know, you could have maybe, as I was wrapping up before, you probably could have pushed stop or would have happened and whatever. And you would have just gone on your merry way and probably had the next conversation and gone, oh yeah, the universe has got my back. Well, maybe not. I don't know, but I'm just assuming. So it's like have the nads. You know, I always say, put your big girl pants on, put your big boy pants on, make it happen. Because this is one of those times, whether you're in the middle of happiness or you're in the middle of sorrow or anger or guilt or everything's rocking for you, whatever the fuck is going on in your life. This is a moment to really remember, and this is a moment to go, that's the day that I actually changed shit up. That is the day, that is the moment when I actually changed shit up. Don't be scared, don't be fearful. Get that shit out of your, your language. Get those things, the universe got my back, or any other. By the way, if you've got any other good ones, can you flick them over to me? As in, like, if you've been saying any and they're good and you're like, oh my God, I'm never saying that again. Can you flick them over to me? Because I'd be super interested to see what other ones there might be. And otherwise, there it is. There's another episode of the BS Machine. That was episode number 67. And guys, you know, the other thing is I love, like, there's been so many cool shares of the potty, and I'm really, really enjoying seeing all the shares and whatever else. So thank you so much for all your support, and thank you so much for supporting my message, and also thank you. I just want to say thank you for listening, thank you for being epic, and I'll see you guys later. Have an epic week. Got some cool I've got some cool guests coming on over the next month. I'm just tying them down, locking them in, baby, locking them in. But some of these people that are epic are hard to get, and but I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. So we've got some guests coming, maybe one next week. I'm just waiting to see if I can get them on. But otherwise, go get them, guys. Go get them, and give us a hey. Fucking love your guts. See you, legends.